water. So this is the problem we have that we're going to be fixing today. Camera case got hung on the tree there. So the pond's about a foot lower than it should be because the spillway right here, this is the only overflow for this pond, washed out. You can see how it's eroded. Well, the customer got somebody else to try to fix it, and all they did was dump rock in here. Well, I'm not a rocket scientist, but water flows through rock, so that did not help the problem of raising the water level back up. And now we got bukus of rock here. So what I'm going to do is dig out some of this rock, all this section right here. We will build the dirt dam back so that it will raise the water level back up, and then use the rest of this rock on the downhill side right there. So that's the plan for today, is to get the little pond back to the level it should be at. And then also it will allow a pathway so that you can walk through here a lot easier than you can now. And I'll also be taking out that little retaining wall that's about to fail. We'll take that out, regrade it, put some matting down. So before, and we'll do it after shortly. Alright, so I got all the rock removed. As you can tell, they just put rock in the ditch that was washed out, so that's why the water would not get any higher than it currently was. Getting it pumped down, I'm gonna dig that mud out, build a little cofferdam, and we'll bring some good dirt in and pack that back and make a new dam across for the new spillway elevation. All taken care of. Got everything graded out and the matting put down, rock moved behind the spillway, and the matting put in. Well, we dug all that mud out, moved the rock, put dirt back in there to build a solid base for the dam. Now the water will just go over, and that'll hold grade versus the water filtering through that rock and the pond being a foot lower than it should be. And we ripped out the wall and graded the slope back and stabilized that with matting as well. And when it's all said and done, the water will be all the way up to about right here, so you won't see much of that at all. Not a lot of room, so we got all the mud dug out, and now we're bringing in some more good red clay to pack back in there. And pretty much build the dam back. Not a lot of room to work here. Alright, another leaking pond and 2 minis. So, a couple people's already tried to fix this one. It's a stormwater pond for a subdivision. The water is going beside the pipe and the pond's not staying full. It's supposed to stay probably, well, the water level is supposed to stay up to the bottom of this low flow pipe. So as you can tell, that is far from happening. Some actually just fixed it because the grass has barely started coming up. But as the pond fills up, the water comes in here and it starts going down beside the pipe. So what we have to do is we're going to excavate the entire dam out right here and recompact the dirt and pour some anti-seep collars around this pipe to keep the water from seeping down beside it. So I got 2 obstacles. I got a 30-inch RCP pipe and a 4-inch ductile iron low flow pipe. And what that is, let's walk around. On the front of this riser is at 90 right there. So it goes down as the pond fills up. The water comes up inside this pipe. You got the drain right there, and then the low flow water level's always right here. It pulls it from like 18 inches below so it doesn't get the surface water. So this maintains the level of the pond during average. If it rains too much, it fills up and pours out the main overflow. But this is what regulates the water level, and it flows in that 4-inch pipe through the dam, and then somewhere in here it does a 45 and comes out right here, and then dissipates to a little 10 or 12 foot long level spreader. And then the main overflow is right here, and as you can tell, it's leaking by the sinkholes and the abundance of mud out in the woods. Alright, let's start digging. Not a lot of room to work here either. We'll have to cut all this dirt out and transfer it with the mini and pile it up inside the pond. So I put the 18-inch bucket on, trying to dig back and see. I was trying to figure out where this thing turned at, and I hit a hunk of concrete right there. So at least I know my depth I'm at now. I'm going to turn around the other way and cut a little more dirt out. It's got a little more fall on it than it looked like. So I'm going to skim this down a little bit farther and then start working behind me, cutting the pipe back, or digging the dirt back on top of the pipe. So I got down to the pipe on the back side, and I'm all the way to the grade that it's laid on. And you can clearly see where the water is flowing under the pipe because it was just bedded in on loose dirt pretty much. So what I'm doing is digging down on each side, and I got this side exposed. I'll take this dirt, put over here, we'll compact it back and just work our way back to fill any sinkholes or voids that may possibly be in here, and know that we do have a good solid amount of clay on each side of the pipe. And then, you know, what I'm doing right here is not going to fix the problem, but once I get up here, I'm not sure what this giant hunk of concrete is here for, but once I dig down right here and we put our anti-seep collars in it, that's where we actually excavate under the pipe, and that's what will prevent the water from continuing to flow under it. That'll seal it off. So now we're just digging back right here to make sure there aren't any sinkholes and get everything packed back, and then we'll go up there and excavate all the way around the pipe. So here's a prime example of why I'm doing this. You know, I took 2 more scoops out on this side, and look what I discovered. Look at that. Absolutely nothing but a giant void all the way down. That water was gushing beside the pipe. So that's the point of doing what I'm doing, to find mysteries like this. And I'm pretty sure there's a tunnel all the way down the side of the pipe, all the way to the pond. Good catch. Another part of the sinkhole, as you can jump in there. Maybe Tim could jump in there. My ass couldn't jump in there.
I'm gonna avoid that.
Oh, yeah. You can see where it was coming out right there. Keep digging. That's all we can do. Digging and packing back. But what we're doing is fixing the sinkholes. And then once we get, we'll probably do an anti-seep collar right there. One on this side of that monstrosity of concrete and one on the other. All right, let's see what we got when we dig down a little farther. here's what we've discovered. That was only grouted about halfway. The anti-seep collar is right here that they poured, but it doesn't go below the pipe. Poured a nice concrete wall. I don't know what's going on right there, but that's another big blob of concrete. So we dug out in front of that all the way under the pipe to pour another collar, and then we come back here. All this is concrete up and I mean, I don't know how far it goes, but I never found the end of it. I don't know what the deal is with all that, so I can't dig this up because it's like I don't know how thick it is, but I'm not doing anything with that. So we come back here and dug a second anti-seep collar. For some reason the first one doesn't seal it. That one should do the trick. We got that one, we were able to dig out good under the pipe there. And then we dug all this up and recompacted it, and we will pack all that back once we pour concrete. So, you never know what you're going to get into when you come to a job that 2 or 3 other people's already worked on. Other than there's a lot of concrete right there. Yeah, this is kind of a mess. It's just like layers and layers of concrete dumped everywhere.